Selichot are penitential prayers. Prayers that are usually recited on fast days, but also particularly around the High Holy Days. The Selichot service is a service on a Saturday evening before Rosh Hashanah that really focuses on these penitential prayers. It particularly focuses on the 13 attributes of God, of appealing to God's mercy. Selichot actually take many different forms. There's Selicha itself, which is forgiveness, and that's most of the Selichot service. There's Pizmon, which is the chorus. That's the Selichot for the day in particular. There's Akedah. We don't have them in our Selichot service, but Akedah, the binding, like the binding of Isaac, that Selicha particularly contains the theme of the Akedah as a merit for God answering our prayers, and we relate to the Akedah on Rosh Hashanah in the Torah reading. There's Chatanu, we have sinned, and then there's also Techina, petition, and the Techinot actually became a really interesting form of folk liturgy, which I've mentioned a number of weeks ago. Folk liturgy prayers for forgiveness and pardon, particularly written by women. And so our Selichot service has some of these elements. That service is this Saturday evening. And what's really fascinating about it is that not only are we coming back into the sanctuary for the first time in 3 years, which means we'll actually be able to change the Torah mantles from coloured mantles to white mantles to represent the purity of the High Holy Days, because in the last 2 years we've done is click a slide so that the colours would change from coloured mantles to a picture of white mantles. Now we're actually going to be able to do it in person. Not only that, but we also have member liturgy. One of the most profound things that I think has happened liturgically in this community for a while is the inclusion of member liturgy. We started that for the High Holy Days in 2020 and had some extraordinary readings. And then we had members writing liturgy for Pesach in 2021 and then again in the High Holy Days in 2021. We're gathering together an extraordinary collection of member liturgy, really profound, beautiful works. And this year, instead of the member liturgy being on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, it's in the Selichot service. And we've just put together that extra booklet of liturgy for our members, and it is wonderful, really very powerful. So I do encourage you to join us tomorrow evening for our Selichot service. It will be broadcast online for those who aren't comfortable coming in person, but especially for those who aren't sure about coming to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur in person because you're concerned about how many people will be in the sanctuary. Actually, Selichot is a very good way to get that in-person High Holy Day experience, because there won't be the hundreds of people that we expect for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So I do encourage you to join us, either in person or online, not just for our Shabbat services, but also tomorrow evening for our Selichot service. I think it's going to be extremely moving to be back in the sanctuary again, and it is definitely going to be extremely moving to be adding this member liturgy to our Selichot service. I wish you Shabbat Shalom, and I hope to see you either at our Shabbat services or at our Torah study, in which we focus on what is Selichot, or indeed at the Selichot service itself. Shabbat Shalom.